with delight when we saw that we were all in the same class. But then Mrs. Espinosa laid it on us. She was giving us homework on the very first day, and not just homework, but a major project. Bellwood didn't have only one story of its past, she said. Instead, it had countless stories, each featuring different people. To get to know the many stories of Bellwood's past, each of us was to choose a building in town, research its history, and then make a 5-minute presentation of our findings to the class. And we only had 2 weeks to do it. The bell rang to signal the end of class, and Peephole let out a groan. He was pale and looked a little nauseous. "You okay, dude?" I asked, stuffing my books into my bag and flinging it over my back. "You look like somebody died." "Somebody did die," he said. "My free time. And what if I can't decide on a building to research? What if I pick a place but somebody else picks it too, and then their presentation is better? What if I pick a place but it has no history at all? I'm so scared." "Don't worry, Peephole," Paul said, giving him a supportive slap on the back. "We'll help you find a good place." Being scared of homework might sound weird, but only if you didn't know Peephole. See, he was pretty much the opposite of me. My parents liked to say I was born without 2 things, hair and fear. I eventually grew hair. Long electric blonde hair that cascaded all the way down my back. But fear never sprouted. Peephole, on the other hand, was afraid of, well, everything. You know how people joke about somebody being afraid of their own shadow? I've seen Peephole get so startled by his shadow that he literally shrieked. More than once. But I had to give him credit. He'd done a lot of growing up ever since he became a big brother over the summer. He was 11 years older than his sister, so he was a really big brother. His baby sister, Tiny Trillium, forced Peephole to become a little bit braver. Just a little bit. That also meant that he was no longer an only child like Paul and me, which made our detective team name, the One and Onlys, sort of not true. But it was such a good name that we decided to ignore that detail. The 3 of us spilled out of the classroom into the crowded hallway, where we joined the herd being corralled toward the gym for an assembly. "Hey, wasn't there a fire at the Bellwood Library a long time ago?" I asked. A seed of an idea was forming in my head. "I think so," Paul said. "The place nearly burned down back in the 80s when our parents were kids. Why?" "Picture this," I said, jumping ahead and walking backward to face them. "The presentation starts with the lights off. A spotlight flips on, and you see a perfect scale model of the library on a table at the front of the classroom. There's a voice. It's me, explaining the boring history of the building, that it was built in blah blah by blah. But suddenly, woof, the library bursts into flames. "You can't have a fire in the classroom," Peephole gasped. "Sure I can," I shrugged. "I'll be crouched behind the model with a blowtorch. So the library lights up like a sparkler on the 4th of July, and I throw some siren sound effects in there, and then, just when everybody starts freaking out, I jump up and extinguish the flames. Mrs. Espinosa is so dazzled by the whole thing, she gives the project an A+ right then and there." "I like the enthusiasm," Paul said, "but I'm not sure if Mrs. Espinosa is going to allow real flames." Of the 3 One and Onlys, Paul was the voice of reason. He was so level-headed that you could balance your lunch tray on his noggin and never worry about it spilling. It was hard to get Paul angry or worked up or emotional about anything, except for mysteries, of course. He was an absolute nut for them. He loved hunting them out, investigating them, and solving them. When we finally reached the doors of the gym, our math teacher, Mr. McClelland,